My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia, the Latino Al Pacino, the Puerto Rican Pitbull, Gino Rivera, and you are drinking at Moe's. Why? Because I told you so.
All right, everybody. Want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin at Moe's be a brand ambassador. They encourage everybody to break out of that comfort zone, live their best self, which, hey, that's what got me starting the podcast. But they got great clothing, great apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, hats, all that good stuff. Be sure, link will be in the description, and use the code Drinkin at Moe's to get 10% off your order. Let's fucking go.
All right, everybody. Welcome, Drinkin' Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill with YouTube and all that. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all the good stuff because it helps with that algorithm they got over there. It's a pain in the butt. We're in most places you can find your audio podcast. Today, before we get into all the formalities, I think it would be proper since, as of recording to this, we are just getting the news a few hours ago about Bray Wyatt in the day after the great Terry Funk. So rest in peace to both of them. We'll do our best to keep the pro wrestling world proud, make them both proud. Now, first thing I'd like to start off with, but you know what? Before I get it, I got so into, paying respects to those two men, I forgot to introduce my guest tonight, Gino Rivera. How you doing?
Oh man, I've been on a roller coaster of a year and a roller coaster of a month and a week and a day, up to the very hour of learning the very unfortunate news. It's definitely a Debbie Downer, but life is good besides what happened today. This is wrestling, and some sad things happen and some great things happen. So right now I'm feeling okay. Could be a little better.
Oh, yeah, no, I can totally relate. It's been one hell of a year for me. So far, for the most part, 40 has treated me a lot better than 39 did, with, the losing both of my girls and then getting into all of this stuff today. It's been rough, but I'm still alive and kicking, so that's got to count for something, right?
God bless you. God bless you, brother. Drink to that one.
Yeah, but first thing I'd like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you started deciding to make the leap into the business?
I started because of one person, one special woman, and that was my mom. My mom was a huge Undertaker fan, and when I was young, we were less fortunate. That's the right word I want to, the term I want to use. We didn't have a lot of money, but we were okay. And every weekend she would take me to a place. It was a video store, and we would go and rent videos and double tape. I might incriminate myself here, but we would double tape the VHS so we could have our copies. And to this very day, I have them all right here. You know what I mean? My mom was just the most wonderful soul in the world, and she loved wrestling with all of her soul. Today, not so much. She fell out of it, but I haven't shaken it, And as far as getting into it professionally, I went to go see the WWE live in Los Angeles at the Staples Center, and I got a flyer, and it said train to be a professional wrestler or whatever, you know what I mean? And I looked at the flyer, and there's a bunch of guys without their shirts, and I was like, yeah, that's not wrestling. Like, no way. And I was like, I don't want this stripper thing, and the guy was like, it's not stripping. I was like, yeah, I don't want to hear it. So I go in Staples Center. Hours later, I come out. The show is over. Crossing the light, that same guy with the same flyer. He's like, "Here you go, train to be a professional wrestler." I was like, "Dude, I don't want to. I don't want this. Like, this is not wrestling. That's like a stripper thing." And he goes, "Bro, it's wrestling. You went in there to see WWE. This is exactly what we do." And I was like, "All right." Well, I looked at the card and went home, made some phone calls, and the very next day I was training at Santino Bros Wrestling
Mm.
Academy in Los Angeles, California, under Joey Chaos. And
Oh
still
yeah.
here 15 years later.
Oh yeah. I'm very familiar with Santino Brothers and Joey Chaos. I mean, I was a fan of Joey Chaos from the original XPW days,
Yeah.
and then he just so happened to be in my second ever independent wrestling show when I was stationed down in San Diego
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
now defunct promotion, New Wave Pro. That they had a bit of a working relationship with Santino, so I became familiar with Joey and Santino's definitely through them, getting to meet a bunch of the guys, getting to meet Joey a few times. So very familiar. Santino's definitely one of those destination schools for learning professional wrestling. If you ask my humble opinion there, because not like when I was growing up, there was you might have to travel maybe 10, 12 hours to get to a school sometimes. Now, it seems like each region of the country has their school, their reputable schools. Well,
Yeah.
reputable schools, because there are those out there not so
You don't
reputable.
know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santino brothers, they definitely know what the hell they're doing.
Oh
They've
yeah.
they've had one hell of a crop of talent come out of there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Joey's a busy man. I'm hoping to get him on soon. He's mentioned that he'd be willing to, but like I said, he's a busy man.
Yeah. My dad's very busy. He's very busy.
And yeah, it's been
Oh, you
funny
did.
getting.
Oh, you didn't hear that, did you?
Didn't hear what.
My dad's very busy, but I'll call him and I'll let him know.
Okay, no, I heard that and I was like, wait, what did you just say?
Everybody thinks that Joey Chaos is my dad. He's not my dad. We have a resemblance. We look alike. We've got curly hair and face, but no, he's not my dad. But every single place I go, then I tell them, "Oh, I'm from Santino Bros," and they go, "You look like him," and I'm like, I'm not trying to, I promise." But
you,
for
you
the
know,
mannerisms where I'm like, like just everything, my one of my dream opponents is to wrestle Joey Chaos, and I hope one day. I know he's kind of semi-retired, but we'll see what we can pull him out of that hole and get him in the
yeah,
ring. So
they hell they well, going back to you know God rest his soul, passed away yesterday, Terry Funk. They said that, he, air quotes, retired a bunch of times, but then he always ended up getting pulled back in. I'm
yeah,
sure you could get Joey in there.
I'm sure I can too. I don't even think it's the dollar amount. I think it's more of like the right time, right place kind of thing.
Mm. No, I
He's
totally
never
get
been that guy like, oh, if they pay me $1 million, I'll be on AEW tomorrow. That's never been him. He's more so like, oh, I can go. I just want to make sure that the match is what I need. Do I
it.
need this match? Because I really don't need this match because my career, he goes, I'm happy with my career. So
Yeah, no. Well, I was kind of curious because everybody's got their own stories when it comes to training. What was it like going to Santino's, getting trained, and sitting under the learning tree of a guy that, I mean, had quite the career in Joey Chaos?
very nerve-wracking, but at the time, I can tell you this, and this mind blows everybody. I didn't know about indie wrestling at all. All I knew was WCW, Impact Wrestling, well, TNA, and WWE. I heard of ECW, I was aware, but like I never knew about indie professional
Mm.
wrestling. So when I signed up for the class, I walked in there and I was just, I don't know etiquettes, I don't know what to do, I don't know anything. I don't know these people around me. I just see a bunch of kids like me wanting to learn and train. And one of the guys, Famous B, he was in the class,
Mm.
and I'm like, hey, you know who that is, right? And I'm like, who? He's like, that guy right there, and that guy. And I was like, now? And I was like, oh, those are our trainers. They're from XPW. And I was like, oh, okay, okay. What's XPW? They're like, you don't know what XPW is? And I'm just like, sure, yeah, of course I know what XPW is, right? No idea what XPW was. Uh, then that night I went and looked it up and I was like, that is my trainer. That is Joey Chaos. That's Angel Exotico. You know what I mean? That's Carnage. That's Supreme. Rest in peace.
No, yes.
Um, all these guys are standing in front of me, and I'm like, the next day I come and I'm like, holy crap, these guys are awesome, right? It was just really cool. But the experience that I got there was everything I've ever needed in wrestling, everything I will need. It's something I pass down to my students today. I'm sure we'll get there later on, but there's my school.
Yes.
The same thing that the same thing that I was learning at that school is the same thing my guys and girls are learning today. So it's basically Joey Chaos Pro Wrestling Training 101 all over. Like his touch, Supreme's touch is just being passed down, and I'm very happy to pass that down.
That is definitely awesome. And you know what? Funny enough, not knowing about independent wrestling when you got into that school first, I didn't even know anything about independent wrestling until literally I got stationed in San Diego with the Navy, Googled pro wrestling in San Diego, and then boom, there off it went. Literally, second show, like I mentioned, Joey Chaos was there. Ran into him a few times there, and yeah, that was something else. And you know what? Before we get into that school that you were talking about, you like lately the past few years there have been people that have been turned belt collectors, literally collecting championships everywhere they go.
Not
And
me.
you very much so have been doing just that.
Yeah.
Now, what, like, good Lord, I'm trying to in my head think of some of these ones because I know off the top of my head because I just talked with somebody from the promotion just last night because I've been lucky enough to do preview shows for different promotions cards, and the one that I talked with last night, we're hoping to get one done for a show here in the next couple of months. Below Zero Wrestling out of North Dakota. Now, I'm glad that they ended up getting a promotion back up there because I was familiar with the promotion that was up there known by Fully Loaded Wrestling, and this seems to have taken up where that left off.
Yeah.
What are some of these other ones? Because I mean, I've lost count.
As far as what do you mean? Like what other promotions exist around there, or like you're talking about?
What ones that like the titles that you've collected from
Oh,
these different promotions?
gosh. So I currently hold 8 different championships all around the United States, from the West Coast to the Southwest to the Midwest. Geez, you name it. Like I'm everywhere. I am on my 19th championship in my 15th year. I've been a champion since 2017, and ever since then, I apologize, 2016, and ever since then, I've been, how can I say, blessed and graced with wrestling royalty. As far as wherever I go, the matches are very good. The promotions are very great. Winning is more than just picking up a victory. I'm rewarded with championships, and people want to see me and have me as their champion representing their company. And that means more to me than anything in the world. They trust me to be the flag bearer of their company. I am the BZW Below Zero Wrestling champion right now. It took me literally a few shows to reach that height, and now I'm there. I'm the man there. I'm a champion in California. I'm a champion in Arizona, in Texas, in Colorado. Uh, uh, gosh, you name it. I'm actually going up for another one soon. I can't really say when, but I'm looking to collect my ninth championship and my 20th championship win. You know what I mean? I'm just working hard, staying out of the drama, staying out of the craziness of the business, and I'm just working as hard as I can and giving my guys, my team, my camp a reason to look at me and go, that's exactly how I want to be when I'm wrestling. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
yeah.
got
Oh,
to
yeah.
set the example, set the tone, and lead by example, and not just talk about it. And I
Oh, yeah.
think I'm doing a pretty good job right now. So
Oh, I would definitely say so. I mean, good Lord. Eight,
yes,
currently holding eight, almost at
20.
20 overall.
Yes.
That's like, good Lord. You talk about some of the people that have been coined as a belt collector recently. I don't remember so many of these people holding eight at one time.
The
Like
only
Kenny
one
Omega held like what was it?
we have four.
Four at one time.
Yeah, but those
Then
are
there
he had like a trios, he had a tag team, and he had a singles. For me, I hold nothing but singles championships. Same with Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder can have a little dog in the fight, a fight in the whatever. But here's the problem with Zack Ryder is, or Matt Cardona, whatever he likes to call himself. And this is a shoot right here, brother. I don't have to make internet championships and I don't have to wear replica championships. These are all championships that I've gone all over the country to win and defend and keep and hold. And none of my championships are replicas or toys. These are real championships held by a real wrestler. So he can have 10, 9, 11, but you might want to minus like 7 of those because they don't really get defended. Not alone, let alone they're not really real, right? Is the internet
yeah,
championship a real thing? Is holding his girlfriend's NXT tag team title? Does that count too? That doesn't count. I can tell you what counts. Gino
yeah.
Rivera holding 8 championships at one time in 1 year, collecting 19 championships throughout his career. It's got to say
Mm.
something.
Oh, that it does.
Absolutely.
And we talk about setting a good example for your guys. That shirt you're wearing right now, your school, Off the Top Ropes Wrestling School over there in New Mexico. What's it like, kind of juggling the training aspect of your people, and then also juggling in there your own in ring com- competitions?
Right now, the only reason Off the Ropes started in general, we started in July of 2019, and my first student was Gypsy Mac. And the only reason I can say that we are still here today is because of her. She tried to go around looking for wrestling schools, and everywhere she went, they turned her down. You're a girl. We don't train women's wrestlers. Nope. No, no, thank you. No matter how much money you have, we don't want you. She saw me and she's like, I want to train. I just no one wants to train me. And I was like, I'll train you. She's like, really? And I was like, yeah, like what's the problem? I'll train you. Just so those guys can, look at you and go, damn, we should have got her first. But I did. So I started the school Off the Ropes in July of 2019, and I'm still going. It's literally August 24th, 2023. And gosh, 60 students later, you know what I mean? Just I'm pushing them out. You know what I mean? This is a business where you need a thick skin. You need to have some heart to do this. You need to be mentally strong. You know what I mean? You can't just come in here and think you're gonna wrestle. It doesn't work like that. And majority of my students that do the program, they all come out and they're all over the country. I've got guys that have literally been flown out in their first year. Who gets flown out in their first year? Nobody. My guys do. To Washington, to Florida, to South Dakota, you know what I mean? California, Arizona, you just name it. They're everywhere. And I couldn't be more proud of my camp, my students. I love seeing them excel. I run a very tight ship, and I don't think they have a problem with how I train. It's the same way I was brought up, hence why I'm still here and I'm still strong, still going. And my students are doing the same thing. We are the premier school in Albuquerque, New Mexico. There are other schools around, but no one is as consistent. No one is as how can I say it? No one makes their students work as hard as I do. You know what I mean? My students are required to travel on the weekends, rather they're not on a show, or if they have the weekend off, they're going to come and take the ride and see if they can get booked. My students are also required to look like a wrestler, have boots, have gear, train. We train from Monday through Thursday, or from 4 to 8 o'clock. And Fridays were show days, Saturdays we're on the road, Sundays we're home. You know what I mean? We do the damn thing. We don't play wrestler. We are the wrestler.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing with wrestling, and in any aspect of the business, is consistency. Because when you get complacent, that's when the quality just starts to go down the toilet. When you're out there constantly putting in the work, then you get you at least get the chance of that longevity that some people only pray for.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of people that wish that they could train every single day. Instead, they're training once a day, or I'm sorry, once a week, once a month. I went to a school in North Dakota, and well, it wasn't even a school. Talked to a few wrestlers, and they said, well, this guy took our money, but we don't ever see him. He doesn't even train us. He doesn't even have a ring. I'm not going to disrespect that guy, but that's not training.
Yeah,
It's not training at all.
no,
Here
those.
you have a ring, you have a curriculum. We have drills. You have an expectation. We have deadlines. We run shows. You know what I mean? We do promo classes. You are required to look like the wrestler, and if you don't, we'll get you there. Not every wrestler needs to look like they're 6'2", 200 pounds, yoked out and chiseled. They're all, some of my favorite wrestlers didn't look like that. Doink the Clown, Yokozuna, a lot of Suzuki. You can name all the wrestlers in the world right now. And yeah, you can kind of say like, well, Batista looks like Chris Masters, or Masters looks like this. But yeah, there's been Bam Bam Bigelow, there's been Taz, there's been Typhoon, there's been Macho Man, all different body shapes and sizes and
Oh yeah.
ethics. The wrestler doesn't have a specific look. You know what I mean? Look at a guy like Matt Tremont. I love Matt. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
that's one guy, and I'm like, you're gonna tell that guy he's not a wrestler? He can wrestle his ass off.
Oh god, yeah.
He does a different style of wrestling.
Oh
That
yeah.
that's his poison. For me, I can do death matches as well. I do a different style. I am more focused on lucha and American. You know what I mean? I can
Yeah.
go in there and bang my head every day with chairs and light tubes. That's fun. That's great. My trainers are all death match guys. I can't bash that style, but it's not for me, and it's not what I train in. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But
No, I've been lucky enough. Speaking of deathmatch guys, I've talked with Matt Tremont about coming on. It's been kind of a process, no fault to his own. I'm not bashing him at all. He's a damn machine with the schedule he keeps with running H2O and his in-ring stuff. But I have been lucky enough to get to talk with a handful of great deathmatch guys, from Alex Colon, from John Wayne Murdoch,
Akira.
from Low Life Louis Ramos. Like, hell, it took me about a year to finally get it nailed down to have John Wayne Murdoch on.
Yeah.
Finally got it done. That guy's a damn machine.
John's amazing, man.
And the thing that each of those guys have mentioned when it comes to deathmatch wrestling is you have the detractors, but when it's done right, it's basically just regular wrestling surrounded by the deathmatch elements. You get the story. You don't just automatically start going for the big weapons.
But
You're like,
seen that. We've
oh,
seen
it's
the
out
way,
there.
and they're out here grabbing weed whackers immediately. I've seen a bunch of death. I've been in 2 death matches, so it's like I do the same thing. As I'm gonna wrestle, and you're gonna get all the fun shit at the end. But right now, I'm gonna show you that I can wrestle, and I'm gonna make you guys believe this guy that's a death match wrestler, he can wrestle too. He just chooses not to. He has a different art form, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I love and respect that community. Those guys are some of the hardest workers in the world, and not all of them are trash bags. Not all of them, can't afford gear. They just choose to wrestle, and hey, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna beat you up in my jeans and I'm gonna kick your butt, you know. And I respect that as well. You know, not
Oh,
my wrestlers when they're at OTR, they will be in boots, they will be in gear, they will know how to wrestle, they will know how to talk, they will basically look the part.
oh yeah. No, and actually, speaking of one of those guys that I mentioned, off to my side here, I don't have it displayed yet, but I actually have from Alex Colon signed kick pads that he's actually worn, and I actually found uh, pictures of him actually in these. That once I get something to display them in, that picture's going right up
Oh, you
in
need
there.
to. You
I think
need.
he's doing like a double knee into a corner through a pane of glass.
Jeez, yeah, no way.
And like you look close enough, you can see the little nicks and scrapes from the glass and
Yeah.
barbed wire and stuff. And there's some little token that I'm kind of proud of.
Yes, no, there's nothing wrong with that. I got tons of tokens that I'm proud of. I mean, I could reach right here.
Yeah. Oh, but excuse.
This one right here. This is my first ever championship that I ever won. I won this from David Marquez. He made me the Arizona State champion. I was the first ever Arizona State champion, and this belt means the most to me. It took me 9 years to win my first championship. And
Hey.
out of all the belts I won, this means the most to me. This one here. So
Oh, that I can understand that. That's awesome.
yeah, so that's like one of my trophies that I have in my office. I have tons of stuff I can put up, but I don't want to ruin the walls, you know.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely got my like health behind me here. A bunch of my collections, some autographed even. Some of the autographed ones I'm kind of actually proud of
Yeah,
with some of my autographed figures from my head shrinker Fatu figure I got signed by Rikishi.
I have that right there. And this, if I open this closet, everything's gonna explode. I'm just letting you know. I open these bins, everything's gonna explode. You know what I mean? I just literally went to Mexico and picked up, a few. I like these.
Ooh,
I bought
okay.
these for $6 in Mexico. So these are a little hard to find, and they're actually you would think somebody made them custom, and they're actually figures from Mexico. This is how they make them. This is not like Rey Mysterio's head and
Uh,
on another guy. This is
yeah,
somebody scoped this out and they made Taurus and Blue Demon. So
nice.
bought these for $6 in Mexico. I can't wait to go back so I can buy more shit. But
Oh,
I'm
that's pretty
I've been a
epic right there. I know.
I've been
No, I
a figure
think.
collector my whole life. You don't want to get me started there.
Oh, yeah. No, I can imagine. I know. Like I'm proud of my little collection I got back here and some of my stuff I got beside me here. I know I'm nowhere near the level of some people out there, but
Yeah.
I'm proud of what I got.
Hey, it's a start. It's a start, dude. I started with Jake the Snake and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and now I probably have this whole office is filled with just a wrestling BS, man. It's ridiculous. I'm an avid figure collector. Like I collect other stuff, but like I am most proud of some of the stuff that I have. Like you can't really see it, but stuff like this really makes me proud to have because
Ooh.
I got stuff like in the vault where if I keep going, it's gonna turn into a toy show. But
Oh, well, one more before we get to my little categories I have here. I'm proud of these ones because my wife ended up giving them to me. My first ever ones she gave me, but
those are 30
I
bucks a pop.
I just picked up this one today.
I saw that at
Andre the
Walmart.
Giant Ultimate.
I saw that Target. Yeah.
Yep, when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, I gotta.
So the problem I have with Mattel, the problem I have with WWE and their figures is they like to put the same figures in a different box.
There's a lot of those, yeah.
It makes me sad because there's a lot of Roman Reigns and a lot of John Cena's hanging on the pegs, and I'm like, where's the good stuff? You know what I mean? When in the '90s, when KB Toys was around and Toys R Us, I could go and find pretty much any figure, every figure. Now there's just one Blue Demon in a case and 10 John Cena's. And usually those guys that stock the toys are wrestling marks and figure collectors, or they know, hey, this costs a lot. I'm gonna take this blue demon and sell it for $700, and I'm just gonna hang all the John Cena's on the pegs. That
Yeesh.
drives me insane. So
Oh God.
yeah, it's
There
never fun.
oh man, there's some people out there that I hear about them doing figure hunts and going to targets and finding all these like really awesome ones. And I'm like, well, goddamn, I can never find this shit around here.
I go every single day. I go to at least 4 stores every single day. I picked up some really good ones, by the way, but they're just based on alone. Here we go, Just real quick, but
Oh yeah, we'll go through these quick and we'll
I
get
found
going.
this here.
Ooh,
I
Bret
mean,
Hart. All right.
I found this here. I hate this guy with a passion, but I found him.
Okay.
You know, they started coming out with these.
Okay. I've seen those around.
Yeah, so just some stuff like that, and randomly walking into Walmart and saw that.
Mm.
I don't even like Funko stuff, but I collect these action figures because they make me happy. Everybody asks me, why do you collect toys? Why do you collect Barbies? And why do you collect this? I tell them, when I was younger, I was adopted. I was the youngest boy of 6, and my mom couldn't afford to get 6 boys toys at the time, each of us, because you get one, you got to get them all, right? I'm a family man. I have 4 kids myself today. I know dang well if I go to a Target, I've got to get not one, but I got to get all 4 of them toys. My mom couldn't afford to do that. So a lot of the times, we would pass by the KB Toys and I would cry. And I'd be like, I want that Bret Hart doll, and I want that Undertaker Stomp series. I want this, whatever. And my mom would just say, no, I can't afford it. So now that I've made something of my life, my career, my wrestling, everything, I can finally afford to spoil myself. And I tell people, I'm just trying to recollect yeah, I'm just trying to rekindle my childhood. I'm trying to get it back. You know what I mean? I never
Yeah.
could afford this. No one will understand why I'm spending thousands of dollars on WWE Crunch, WWF Crunch figures, you know what I mean? Bone crunching action figures. And they look horrible, but at the time, those are the ones I wanted, and I have them now. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud to have them. And that makes wrestling so much more better than just being in the ring. The extracurricular activities that I do outside of the ring, every city I go, every town, every state I wrestle in, every country, I'm going,
Oh, yeah.
all right, take me to see where the figures are. Where can where is there a Target here? Is there a Walmart? Oh, is there a little Mexican shop that I can go and see figures? That's the first thing I
Oh
get.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Nope. I totally
little
understand you
nerd moment.
there. Well, I got 2 categories I kind of like to round stuff off with. One bit of a name game where I try to theme it towards the guests, people you've either shared a ring with or at the very least shared a locker room with, and you give me some quick thoughts on the person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
First one, somebody you kind of brought up a little bit ago when we were talking about training. And you know what? Funny enough, I actually just recorded with the guy last week,
Oh, wow.
and he's going to be my 150th episode.
Congrats. Hey.
Famous B.
Famous B. Hey, famous B. Yes. So, you want to know how I feel about him?
Quick thoughts on the person, some
Uh,
memories.
Gosh, I just saw that he's actually in the UK, or he's going to be in Australia or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
Australia. He was
Yeah,
telling me about
and
that.
he's with Justin from NXT, I think. I forgot his name. But I love Famous B. Famous B, I love you. I miss you, brother. I haven't seen you in a long time. Last time I talked to him was about asking advice, and he got kind of more, what are you waiting for, Gino? Like, you're supposed to be doing better than you are. You know what I mean? And we started in the same class, Encino Rose 1 and 2 that merged together. And Famous B is just one of the most humble, kind person. Gosh, he deserves more flowers than he has today. And I
Oh,
love him.
yeah.
I miss him so much. I have a story, but I don't know how long you have for that. But it's just pretty funny. So
No, you know what? Why not? Look, Tell the story,
This
because
is worse. I
I
won't say any other names because that person is actually in a place that uh they've been
it might
hired
not.
and they
Ah,
might get in trouble. But I can tell you, me and Famous B were there, and we got invited to a party, and it was after a show. We went to LA, went to his warehouse, and it was definitely not our vibe. You know what I mean? It was a bunch of, I thought it was a bunch of kids. I was like, we don't belong here. We're like 22, 23. We don't belong here. These are like high school kids. What the heck is this? We got invited by another wrestler, and he was like, hey, I know this great party. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Let's go. So we all get in a car. We go to the party. Warehouse gets there. All of a sudden, not even 2, 3 minutes after going, this ain't right, cops show, and everybody's running, scattering all over the place, and we had nowhere to hide. So we go into this restroom area, and it was me and three other wrestlers, Famous be included, and we shut the curtain thinking we'll be safe here. They're not going to come in here. All of a sudden we hear the door break down, and we see flashlights, and all of a sudden the cops, like, they move the curtain and they shine the light at us, and they're like, Jesus, god damn, what the hell is that? And it was one of my wrestlers that looked, my one of my classmates. He was just the ugliest thing ever, and we didn't know what he was talking about. We're like, he goes, you, what the hell? Come get a look at this guy. What the hell are you guys doing here? Get the hell out of here. So we all run out of there, get in the car, and we're just punching the other guy like, you idiot. Why would you make us go to that? We were in the wrong party. You know, it was just the worst. We went to some like EDC, like techno party. I don't know.
oh,
We were definitely in the wrong. I don't even know. But Famous B knows that story. He'll probably tell you or touch up on it.
oh yeah. I told him he's welcome back again anytime. I loved in his episode, and it'll come out, I believe. Pulling a brain fart on it, but when we started recording, the whole thing that he did, and he might correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it got started in Lucha Underground, the 423 get thing.
Yep.
He started off. I didn't even ask him to do it. He started off after I did my little opening spiel with that, and I'm just like sitting back here, like, this is freaking awesome.
Yes, yes, yes. Famous B is awesome, man. That guy, he gives so much without taking back, without expecting back. He's just a wonderful soul. Love him.
Oh, most definitely. Next up, a guy that's he's already been making a big splash, but he's about ready to make an even bigger splash in front of the biggest pro wrestling show in history, Darby Allin.
Darby Allin was a wonderful dude. This guy literally came to me in Tucson, Arizona. I believe it was in 2017, 18, 19, one of them, before he got signed to AEW. He came to me and he's like, hey, tell me about you. I just want to know about you. I don't want to talk wrestling. Tell me about the person. And I forever will remember that, how humble, how kind he was. And that guy was super lightning quick. I love the match I had with him, and I'm just so happy to see him like succeed. I don't know if he remembers me, because I've been backstage at AEW a few times. We've done that, and as you know, as an extra, you can't be like, "Oh my God, Darby!" You just got to be like, "How you doing?" But if they don't look at you, you can't really go up to them and say, "How you doing?" So maybe one day we'll share a locker or catering, and I'll say, "Remember me?" Awesome.
That, that, that would be pretty awesome. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This next guy, your match with him happened relatively recently, but the only master of the Master Lock, Chris Masters.
Chris Masters is my traveling buddy, my road dog, my big brother, big brother.
Maybe a big.
I was just on the road with him last weekend, and we were in Montana, and I gave him a ride to the airport. We're driving in like pouring rain, and he's like, "Oh, Gino, slow down. Don't look at the phone. Just stay on the road. Don't worry about it." And I'm like, "I got you. I'll protect you. Don't worry about it." I love Chris Masters. Every time he sees me, he's just like, Gino, what's up, Gino? How you doing? Like, I love that man. Just love him.
That's awesome. Next up, a guy I've actually had the pleasure of getting to meet up on one occasion at Sammy Callahan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver,
Yeah.
back when he was still AEW Tag Champs with Swerve. And I actually have up there a signed figure by this man, Limitless Keith Lee.
Ooh, Keith Lee on his way out, his exit from WWE. This is 2 weeks before he got released. He was checked out. He was not happy. And I got the privilege of going, "Hello, sir. I'm the jobber that's going to be working with you." That's me. And he was very just more so checked out than anything. I could see that he was just ready for this to be done and over. He was not happy, but he was so kind and gentle with me. As much as you saw or didn't see in that match, I'll post it again for your viewers. But he kicked my butt, and it was one of the greatest experiences in my life because for a man that size to leave a kid like me in one piece, it's got to say something about him. The most safest worker ever, safest wrestler ever. I'm so happy to see him happy.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy for him. And he was so nice when I got to meet him. I had to wait a little bit because it was after the show. I was talking with Swerve. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's still in there." So I like, okay, I'll wait here for a little bit. finally, finally came strolling out, and I'm like, I didn't want to be one of those guys that just ran up and like, oh man, and he'd be like, oh, I just got out of there.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up, another guy I got to meet at I believe it was a different show for that same promotion. Another guy that had his time with WWE, Lince Dorado.
Lince Dorado, the most coolest guy ever. He told me in my tryout for WWE, there was two guys in there and they were going and doing spot monkey stuff. They were like, drop kick. Oh, this, do this. Oh, all right, give me that arm drag over here. Hip toss, drop kick, come back up, blah, blah, blah. And then he walks by me and he goes, "You see what they're doing? Don't do that." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "Just don't do that." Walked away, called my match. Xavier Woods walks by. "See what those guys are doing? Don't do that." Why is everybody saying that to me? You know what I mean? Sure enough, I go and have my match, my tryout before the show, before the doors open. And Dean Malenko and Billy Kidman, they all pull me aside and they're like, "You, can you speak Spanish?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I can speak Spanish. Yes." And they're like, "Okay, you're going to be working with Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik." And I said, "You got it." Walk by. "How you doing, guys? We're working together. All right. We're going to do all this, blah, 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 blah." And we went in there and they proceeded to kick my butt. And it was another greatest moment of my life working for the WWE. My first time working in a match. Took me so long. February, I think 20th, 2018 in Arizona. My life was, if I died the next day, I was like, "I don't care. Take me." Love you, Lindsay.
Oh yeah, great things to say about both those last two guys. Now I have a random question category. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. I believe, looking at my notes here, most of them this time around are at least somewhat wrestling related. I give the question, you give first answer that pops in your head.
Deal.
First one of the only ones that I generally try to keep in here because I love hearing the stories. Craziest in-match moment for you?
Craziest in-match moment for me. There's probably just been one. It was standing in the ring with Mick Foley as he stuck a sock down my throat. Boy,
Okay.
was that crazy. Just, I watched this guy get thrown off a cage as a kid. Now I'm in here and he's kicking my butt.
Yeah, that would be a pretty epic moment right there.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I got to meet him on one occasion. Loved it. But yeah, no, getting to be in there in the ring with him and he's, pulling out Mr. Sacco.
Yeah. Did he shake your hand or did he give you knuckles?
You know what? It was a few years ago. I'm trying to even remember.
Okay. He's a germaphobe, so he likes to give knuckles instead of shaking.
It very well might have been that. Yeah. Now, we mentioned at the start of the show, as of recording this, we've recently lost two absolute legends in the business, that being Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. At least I would like if you could give me one memory you have of at least one of the two, if not one of each.
Yes, I got to see the Undertaker wrestle Bray Wyatt. I can't remember what WrestleMania it was, but that was an experience, and it was a wonderful entrance. And I thought Bray Wyatt was almost going to beat the Undertaker. And if you know me, I am the biggest Undertaker fan in the world. Love him to pieces. And I thought for right there that second, Bray Wyatt was going to beat the Undertaker, and I was not happy. But Bray Wyatt is world class talent, world class talker. He comes from a family of royalty. How can you not love that man and his family?
Oh yeah,
My heart hurts right now for his family, his children especially.
yeah.
Everyone back there loved him. I was
Oh,
back there as an extra, and this man literally walked around smiling, and he was just like the brightest soul. I don't know him personally, but just watching him in catering as he just laughed with his friends. Everyone had nice things to say, online today. It was just so sad to see. As far as Terry Funk came to me as Chainsaw Charlie. Uh, I did again. I didn't really know about indie wrestling. I didn't know anything but WWF and WCW. I saw probably Terry Funk as a kid, as a in his tights. But what really took me was Chainsaw Charlie. I was like, who the heck is this guy?
yeah.
And then they took off his nylon and everything, and he was Terry Funk, and just hearing the stories of him, hey, I'm retiring, and then 2 weeks later, I'm back. Hey, I'm retiring, and then I'm back. It's just an inside joke. We love Terry. I love his beyond the mat, conversation where it's like, I need you there, and the other guy, I forgot his name, he's just like, I'm not doing it, not doing it.
Oh, the guy that was going to be like the ref, or yeah, I
Yeah, and he's
remember
like
the guy.
jumping up and down in his underwear, and he's just doing like aerobics, and Terry's just like, I need you there. I can't do this without you, you know. So just Terry Funk is just the greatest. I love wrestling in his city of Amarillo, and he is there a lot of the times, but we're told not to bother him and not to go. Don't be a creeper, don't be a weirdo. But I wish that I could have bumped into him. A lot of people have, but as he got older, as he got sicker, a lot of people were kind of, hey, let him be. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
he comes out here to be normal. Don't whatever. And
yeah.
so much prayers and love to that man's family.
Oh,
Gosh,
mo-
you egg sucking dog, you left us too early. 79 is too early to leave.
you,
Too
you
early
know,
for us to live here until you're 120.
mm, it,
Jeez.
that is one thing to say about the man, that he lived such a life that even at the age that he was, that people are saying that he left too soon. That
Yeah.
is something to say about the man. And I I don't think I mentioned this to you, but I had been talking with a few people about a memory I have of Bray Wyatt, that it didn't involve actually meeting the man, but I didn't realize this at the time, that when I had Dutch on, I had him on the podcast, and I posted, I believe it was on Twitter, about his episode, like, hey, I just recorded with so and so, I just recorded with Dutch, and keep an eye on these links. And lo and behold, not even tagging the man, Bray Wyatt acknowledged that, like, he liked the tweet, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
I
that's awesome.
remembered, I immediately messaged Dutch back, and I'm like, are you friends with Bray Wyatt? And he's like, oh yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I'm like, holy shit. And
Yeah.
I thought it was just the coolest thing that the man acknowledged anything about my little damn show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's always the best feeling in the world. I tagged DDP, and I just said something about RVD's movie, and RVD chimed in and was like, and because I said something about like, oh, I just watched this movie, and RVD's like, and DDP and RVD liked and retweeted the thing, and I was like, and it was great, and they both retweeted and liked it, and I was like, this is great. You know what I mean? So it's always
Yeah.
a wonderful feeling when peers that you love and watched as a kid, or even just today, they acknowledge you and your hard work. It's always awesome. I love
Oh
it.
yeah, that made my day when
Good.
that
Good.
happened.
We need more things like that to uplift everybody.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Now, this is another question that I have in here that I would feel weird if I didn't have this question in here with the name of a show like Drinking at Moe's. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or one of each, because I always tell people just because the name of a show says Drinking at Moe's does not mean that the drink has to be alcoholic.
Okay. Well, I haven't had a drink since 2015, 14.
Okay,
So ever since then, I've been pretty cool and sober. I
but
never had
that's good.
never had a problem drinking. I just don't do it anymore.
No,
But my choice of drink was it was called I don't know if I can even say the word. It's called Adios MFer. So
ah,
it's a blue
okay,
drink. It looks like aqua blue. It looks, oh my God, it looks like blue candy. Like just, it's awesome.
yeah,
It sneaks up on you and it's a girl drink, but it took me out, brother. You know what I mean? So that is usually my favorite not alcoholic drink. As far as my non-alcoholic drink, it's anything Propel or pretty much the blue Gatorade.
okay, yeah. My wife tells me as far as non-alcoholic goes, she tells me I have a Dr. Pepper problem. I tell her I have it figured out. The only problem I have is if I don't have any.
Yes. You know what? Look, guilty pleasure right now. I gave up soda 100 times, dude, and I get headaches when I don't do it. So I used to finish a 2 liter of this Pepsi or Coke every single day. I was at Disney World and I had a kidney stone that literally took me out. I thought I was going to die. So I changed my drinking habits as far as soda goes. And I'll have one every once in a while versus a 2 liter every day.
Yeah,
So,
no,
definitely change.
and I always tell people when it comes to that question, like I said, the drink doesn't have to be alcoholic because I know there's people out there that I'll have on that they don't drink for whatever reason. They had their time doing it and they're like, I don't want to do it anymore,
Yeah.
or they had addiction issues and they're on their road to recovery, their sober journey, and I'm like, hey, I've worked with people in rehab centers. I know how hard it can be to when you've had those issues to be sober. So when they're talking about they've been sober for 2, 3, however many years, even months, if it's been relatively new, I'm like, hey, keep up the
Good.
good work.
Yeah.
It's a hard journey. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I come from a family of struggling alcoholics. I come from a family of now I'm not proud of this, but rapists, gangsters, prostitutes come from all of that. And these are my brothers. They're not my real brothers. I was adopted in 1988 and they took me in and held me down as one of their own. Fortunately, this one here died. His name is Brian Santos. He was murdered in 2014 and he had a drinking problem. And
Mm.
I feel like if he never drank, things would have been a little different that night. My my
Yeah.
brother my brother was not a loser. My brother was a soldier, a sergeant in the army.
Mm.
Went to Iraq, Pakistan, you name it, Afghanistan, everywhere, up to his very highest ranking. And one drink led to another and to another, where things got rowdy on a New Year's Eve night, and he was
Yeah.
being stabbed to death and murdered. Ever since then, I just said, you know what? My brothers always would tell me when they would come home drunk, especially the one that was murdered, he would say, "You see what I look like? You see how this makes me a different person? Don't don't do this. Don't you don't want to live like this." And at the
Yeah.
time I was like 13 or 14. I was like, yeah, you don't look so well. I don't want to feel like you. And I remember CM Punk telling a similar story of why he
Yeah.
started. It was like, I don't want to look like that. I don't want to feel like that. And I would see my brothers the next day missing work, missing out on girlfriends and just ruining their lives. And I just made a decision to go, you know what? Hey, if I drink, it's casually
Yeah.
and it's not where I need it.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with having a good time, having a few drinks. Dude, hey, I have kids now. I just, I'd rather
Yeah.
just drink a soda or something so that my kids don't, you know, reach in
Yeah.
the reach in the refrigerator for a beer like I did. I was like, hey, no, what's this?
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with drinking. But my go-to drink, if I do, is Adios MFers.
Ah,
Don't do
mm,
that.
hey, that's all good, man. Now, for somebody that's done as much traveling as you have in the wrestling business, where is someplace that you haven't gone yet that you want to?
I would like to go to the UK and Japan.
Oh, okay, definitely.
There's nowhere in the world I'd rather be other than the UK and Japan. Once I go there, I'm set in stone, man. I'm happy with my life and my career.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I've been all over the country. I've seen a lot of things I wasn't supposed to see. I've done a lot of things that I never thought I would do. And I never thought I'd go to Mexico, and I was there last Saturday or Sunday. Now I'm going to put it into existence of, hey, I'm going to the UK, and I've had a few people reach out, and I will get there. So,
we're putting it out there. We're
yes,
making it happen. That is awesome.
yes,
I've yet. Those are two places I have yet to go myself. I mean, the closest I've come to either one of those was actually on my deployment in the Navy. My ship was anchored off of Japan for a little bit,
yeah,
and some people got to go on shore for some official business. I don't remember what exactly,
sure.
but I unfortunately wasn't one of them. So it's always ate at me that like, oh, I can see Japan. It's right there.
I just
But
don't have my boots. Yeah, I've done that. I've gone vacation in Florida one time, and I was like, never wrestled here, but damn, I'm here for vacation and I don't have my gear. Oh, I get it. I totally get it.
yeah. Now, this is the one I like to round this one off with. Best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling. And I figured this question in particular, coming from a guy running a school, you'd have some particular good insights.
I tell everyone this one because this one means the most to me. This one sticks to me like glue. It's tattooed on my body. It's just everything to me. I tell these guys the day that you quit, somebody, sometime, somewhere will be looking for you. And what that means to me is stick with wrestling no matter how hard it gets. Through all the BS, through all the politics, through all the negative Nancy's in the business, through the good times, through the dark times, through the greatest times, through the hard times, through the mental issues. We've seen some of the highest caliber of wrestlers where you think things are okay with them and things aren't. We got, people in bands like Chester from Linkin Park,
Mm.
who was on top of the world and just something wasn't right here, right? So I always tell people what that means to me is stick with whatever's going on in your life. You never know when that person, somebody, somewhere, sometime will be looking for you. And if it's wrestling that you want to be in, golf or basketball, these scouts, these promoters, these whoever, somebody, sometime will be looking for you. And if you're not here, they'll just look for somebody else. And it happened to me. Um, like for instance, the WWE tryout. Hey, they wanted to see what I could do. I was at the right place at the right time. Somebody, Billy Kidman, okay, somebody, Dean Malenko, sometime, right? 2018, February 20th, somewhere, WWE, 205 Live. I was in the right place at the right time, and they chose me. Can you imagine if I gave up when I wanted to give up in 2008 or 2009? They would have went with somebody else. But I was there. I never gave up on myself. I never gave up on my dreams. I didn't listen to the negative Nancy's. I didn't listen to the inner negative Nancy that I had. And I said, you know what? Stick this out, Gino Rivera. You're going to be fine. This is what you wanted your whole life. And I tell my kids this all the time. And I've gone through about 60 students. Right now, I'm down to 22. And that means a lot of them didn't really make it. They didn't believe in themselves, but 22 of them do. And they're thinking the same way that I do. And I tell these guys this all the time. Ask any one of my students, and they'll tell you the same quote I told you. The day that you quit, somebody, sometime, somewhere, will be looking for you. So don't quit. I had a few guys come up to me saying, "This is my last day, coach. I can't do this." And I said, "No, no, no. You're gonna be fine. You need this." And sure enough, these guys are here, still here to this day, and they're like, "Man, I can't believe I won my first championship. I can't believe I
Mhm.
performed out of state. I've never even been to Wyoming. I can't believe I wrestled Mr. Kennedy." Yeah, yes, this
Mhm.
is
Yep.
real. You know what I mean? Never quit on yourself. Don't give up. I don't want to sound so John Cena, but it is a kind of way, an homage to it.
No, no, most definitely. Because hell, even doing this podcast, there's been times where I've been like, oh, it kind of mentioned the personal tragedy that I had.
Yeah,
There's times after that where I'm like, man, am I actually going to go back to doing this? And
yeah,
then boom, here I am with getting it was that was before this, but John Wayne Murdoch. I've had Man Pondo. I've had, oh God, I'm trying to remember who else. Ah, this is what happens when you've had almost 160 episodes. You start stuff starts like, I know I've talked to so and so, but I
yeah. I do that
but
too. When
yeah,
people are like, where were you last week? And I'm like, I don't even know, dude. I've been doing this too long. But yeah, I get it.
it kind of, the message that you brought reminds me of this picture that I saw where it was like these two guys digging underground, and one guy is like walking away with the shovel, looking down, and then the other guy's still going, and you can see on the other side of where this guy is, he's about there, and there's boom, all this gold and stuff, and it's like the message was basically you don't give up because you never know how close you are to.
That. Yeah, definitely. That's how I feel. I am I've been working with the WWE every year, twice a year since 2015. I'm actually working with them in about a few weeks, actually.
Nice.
And as many people will say, well, you're not signed still. Do they even really want you? I don't know, but I've still got hope. I still have faith.
Yeah.
That kid that watched WWF at the time still has dreams and aspirations to be
Yeah.
there. Never give up on myself.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? I'll never, no matter how many times I'm just there in catering doing nothing, or no matter how many matches I have with one of my favorite stars, it doesn't matter. What
Yeah.
matters most is that I'm always invited back,
Yeah.
and they see something in me to go, hey, yeah, we'd like to have you again.
Yeah.
You are
And
some, and like I said, I'll just never give up on that dream of being
yeah,
in WWE.
no, and it goes back to that message that you have for your students, for the answer to this question about never giving up, because you never, that day somebody's going to be looking for you, and if it only takes that one time with like you going, and there might be different times where like, oh, they're not, but then who knows, that one time you might have been just about to give up, you go there and you might just be impressing whoever it is, and then boom, there
Yeah.
there you are.
I tell my guys all the time because I have skinny guys, fat guys, tall guys, short guys, midgets, you name it. Girls that are out of shape, girls that are in shape. And they go, well, I don't feel like a wrestler. I don't think they'll ever look at me. And I'm like, I'm 5'5". I'm 100 pounds soaking wet, dude. And at that time, somebody somewhere was looking for me. They could have chose Alexander Hammerstone that was standing next to me. They could have chose Evan Daniels from Arizona, but they said, you, come here. I was prepared for that spot. I was supposed to be there. I was destined to be there for that
Mm-hmm.
spot. Had I quit, they would have picked somebody else, but I was there. That was my destiny, and my dream was fulfilled. I'm on the network forever. You can't take that away from me.
Yep.
Because of my quote, the day that you quit, somebody, sometime, somewhere will be looking for you. They're not looking for just one body size, a color, you know what I mean? An ethnicity. No, they were just like, he's short, he's Hispanic, he can speak to Grandma League. Yeah, we want that guy. You come here. And there I was.
Yep.
I never quit. I never quit. And I
Yep.
wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. I've even been kicked out of Santino Rose a few times. You know what I mean? Because I was a young kid, ego, not anymore. I'm old. But so like I said, I thank God every day that I never quit. I never
Yep.
quit.
Definitely. Now, that is about all I have. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
Absolutely. Guys, you guys can find me, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia, the Puerto Rican Pitbull, the Latino Al Pacino, Gino Rivera. You can find me on all social media platforms at Gino Toldyouso, one word collectively. Again, that's Gino Toldyouso, one word collectively. You can find my matches, YouTube interviews, hey, podcasts. I am actively on social media all the time. This is my office. You're speaking directly to me. And especially if you want to see me live, guys, I'll be in El Paso, Borger, Texas, Colorado Springs, Lubbock, Texas, Fargo, North Dakota, Bloomfield, Colorado, Prescott, Arizona, Tulsa, Oklahoma, La Mesa, Texas, in the next 4 to 5 weeks. Please be there and join me to see Gino Rivera live. I love seeing you. I love seeing your faces. I love entertaining you. Guys, that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for your time.
Definitely thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. And best of luck out there with that machine of a schedule you got.
Yes, it gets pretty hectic.
I can imagine.